Dewanna Bonner. I gotta say, I'm very, very surprised at the decision to simply waive her, but I guess because she had an unprotected contract, and that protects them and allows them to cut her. So they have waived Dewanna Bonner. And guess what? Ari McDonald is back in the picture. They have re-signed the speed racer, pesky point guard who was doing so much in those 4 or 5 games that she played for the Indiana Fever while Caitlin Clark was out on the bench.
Something intense is stirring in Indiana, and it's far more than just typical drama. It's a full-blown tempest rocking the foundation of the Fever franchise. When head coach Stephanie White finally stepped up to speak, it wasn't the usual press chatter. It was a seismic jolt. From the surprising decision to waive Dewanna Bonner to the heart-sinking update on Caitlin Clark's injury, every revelation landed like a pivotal blow. Factor in the escalating behind-the-scenes tensions, and you're looking at a moment that could completely reshape the Fever season, or even their future.
Steph, did you have do you have any parting message for Dewanna or anything? Like that you coached her before the season, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, obviously we're disappointed that things didn't work out. I love DB. I mean, DB is somebody that I have so much respect for. She's a Hall of Famer. And while I'm disappointed, I always, first and foremost, want her to be happy. And so I'm thankful for the time that we've had, and certainly, want her to be happy and wish her the best, and turning right now our focus to our team. And
so now the big rumor flapping around like a hyper-caffeinated bat is that Dewanna Bonner grabbed her duffel and bailed on the Fever because of Caitlin Clark. Really? That's the storyline we're pushing? Cue the laugh track, because that theory is pure stand-up material. If that's the excuse, it's not just flimsy. It's hobbling around on a twisted ankle. Let's be honest. Blaming your departure on a rookie is like quitting your job because the new intern uses too many exclamation points in their emails. It's absurd, and everyone knows it.
Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does, and even in her pregame routine, she was doing some things differently. Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of...
It doesn't hold up. It doesn't make sense. And it sure doesn't earn any sympathy points. Bonner didn't just walk out. She bolted like the house was on fire, and she suddenly realized she left her career simmering on the stove. The way she dipped, you'd think Caitlin Clark had rolled in with a boombox blasting threats. But here's the plot twist absolutely nobody ordered. This wasn't on Caitlin. Caitlin Clark didn't wave Bonner off the roster. Bonner made that exit all on her own.
Fortunately, Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury. Caitlin Clark will be missing tonight's game versus the Los Angeles Sparks. The venue will be open. Out with a left groin injury. We go from a quad to a quad to a groin.
Caitlin Clark didn't draft strategy, shuffle minutes, or decide who gets locker room snacks. She was too busy rehabbing an injury and trying not to get steamrolled by the media circus trailing her like a Kardashian with a clipboard. So let's drop the act that this was some tragic saga of veteran versus rising star. This wasn't Shakespeare. This was one woman, Dewanna Bonner, pulling off what can only be described as a top-tier, Hall of Fame-worthy trash move. A tactical tantrum, plain and simple.
How much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back to back, a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So we'll see.
A melodramatic exit so clear it might as well have been sold in the glassware aisle at Target. You don't abandon a team mid-transition and expect a sympathy parade. What Bonner did wasn't leadership or courage. It was ghosting a group project because you didn't like who got picked as captain. She didn't leave for some higher purpose. She quit. She ducked out when the spotlight shifted, not because it was noble, but because it wasn't on her anymore. That's not veteran wisdom. That's straight-up cowardice. And years from now, no one's going to rave about her stats. They'll remember this, the moment she bailed on a franchise that needed her most. That's the story now, and it's not going away.
This just occurred to me. Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left. Caitlin Clark dealing with an injury, not looking like herself. The game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute.
But hey, she cleared space. Sometimes subtraction is the best kind of addition. Bonner walked out, and the Fever brought in McDonald, a guard with speed, grit, and the nerve to show up when it matters. Arie McDonald didn't come to Indiana to watch drama. She came to hustle, grind, and make defenders wish they'd stayed home. No diva exits. No excuses. And blaming Caitlin Clark for Bonner's exit. That's like blaming the weatherman for your broken umbrella. It's pure deflection and denial, wrapped in nostalgia.
Would be returning to the Indiana Fever. She has been out now for 6 games, away from the team for only personal reasons, and the team was being really tight-lipped about it. They weren't giving any more information. But the whole thing, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of fans, is that there was something else going on. This didn't seem like something where there was maybe something going on with her family. It didn't seem like she was sick or injured. She just simply stepped away from the team, and nobody really knew.
Funny how Bonner, once the face of reliability, turned into a contradiction overnight. She preached unity, then bolted when things got hard. The spotlight shifted, and suddenly she wanted her own stage. This isn't a one-woman show. It never was. The truth? They didn't lose a core piece. They lost a distraction. Now the team can actually breathe. Clark may be on crutches, but she still owns the room. She's the future, the engine, and her success was never about pushing anyone out. Bonner just couldn't handle someone else shining brighter and tripped over her own ego on the way out.
There's so many things that go into, and I'm talking about being happy personally. Like I want them to be happy personally. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. You know, it's a different group. While system might still be very similar, it's a different group, and you know, things are happening quickly, and being able to mesh. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think we've seen that in sports.
What's wild is how predictably messy this got. You'd think someone with Bonner's resume would bow out with grace. A thank you, a handshake, maybe a soft piano montage. No. She slammed the eject button like it was NBA, 2K, and Rage quit mid-game. It wasn't graceful. It was graceless. More soap opera villain than seasoned pro. Meanwhile, with McDonald in the mix, the energies flipped for the better. Less drama, more hustle, less noise, more results. While Bonner's PR team scrambles to spin this into some noble tale, the Fever are actually putting in the work. Practice, strategy, chemistry. And somewhere in the background, Caitlin Clark's probably laughing, because once again the world's trying to cast her as the villain in someone else's flop. Too bad that movie already bombed.
As y'all can see, man, the Indiana Fever ended up announcing the status report for tonight's game versus Los Angeles. Caitlin Clark out left groin. Oh, man. Look, that groin is nothing to play with, man. If y'all didn't see how Anthony Davis was taken out this season, well, I guess last season, or whatever the case may be, it just appears out of nowhere. All right, the groin is nothing to play with, man. And, you know, it kind of explains a little bit more why her shot's been off. We can see that she's not 100%. Of course, with the sniffing and, you know, it look like she's out of breath at times. Those things where it just kind of look a little off, right? It don't look like.
So, lads, Caitlin Clark is out injured right now. And it appears that we know... Well, she's out injured with a groin injury, and it appears there is footage of how it happened. And this one's on the coach. This one seems to be on the coach, but at the end of the day, I do think when it comes to this that it's not like there was nothing beforehand. It's not like she was 100% healthy. Because she seems to have been